trail system is for everybody. It's not just for athletes, it's for kids, it's for senior citizens. It doesn't matter. Your fitness level is irrelevant to using the trail system.
I think the typical runner in Douglas County is probably just a recreational runner that just runs for, you know, a couple days a week or 4 or 5 days a week just to get some exercise and some enjoy the scenery that we have out here.
Anyone can come out and run at these trails. It's not just the higher level runner that's out running, it's just people out walking with their dogs or their children, or, you know, I see a lot of people out pushing their children in strollers, which they're getting a better workout than I am, I'm sure, by doing that.
I think running is one of the sports that's conducive for anybody. You can go very easy, you can just jog, you can maybe even do a fast walk, fast pace, you can get a lot of exercise that way. You can run different types of terrain. So I think that there's a lot of variety here.
Highlands Ranch is a great community for runners. It's very social, people love to talk about it.
The beautiful scenery that we have, I mean, I enjoy that early in the morning. Just the training that you have, there's just so many hills, you just can't beat the training.
So when we were looking for houses to buy, I run so much that was actually a factor in our decision. Once we started looking at houses, I of course also started looking at the trail system. I loved it here because there's just miles and miles of trails, there's hills, there's multiple outdoor tracks to train on. So it was just, you know, all different kinds of terrain for any type of training I wanted.
My husband and I looked at different places to live. We loved the outdoors and the trails, and we plan on having children, and it seemed like they had a lot of activities. It seems like the focus is on helping people be active and giving them a place to go outside and be with families and dogs. We're big on taking our dogs out.
My husband and I moved back from Florida just a year ago, and we had grown up in Colorado. We both grew up actually in the Littleton area, but when we came back, my husband's sister and her husband were living in Highlands Ranch, so we decided to check it out, and we just fell in love with it. We loved the people and how they laid out Highlands Ranch with all the great paths and the rec centers and the parks.
It's a family atmosphere since my wife and I just started having a family. We like that. I think people tend to be a little more friendly. Where I used to live, people were a little bit more into themselves, and I think out here, people are a little bit more down to earth, so that's refreshing.
Everybody's extremely friendly, and everybody will say hi. It's one of the nice things is it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're out here at 5 in the morning or even late in the evenings, I'm constantly running across people. So, I mean, Highlands Ranch is a very active community. You see a lot of people out using the trail system, whether they're biking, whether they're running, or just out for a walk with their dog.
A lot of people run in Highlands Ranch, so it's kind of that common thread that can start a conversation, and people are interested in what you're doing and how you're training, and people train so differently. Some people train just on treadmills in the rec centers, or on dirt paths, or on a paved path. Some people run with their kids, some people run with their dogs, and so it's such a great conversation starter, and you learn so much about people and why they started running, and it really brings people together.
I think it's great just to have all these trails and the green areas, you know, that you can just go anytime you want, and they're pretty protected from, you know, any type of development. And I think it's great that Douglas County takes a lot of time and effort into making these green belts and these trails for everybody. I think it's a pretty big, expansive trail system they have here. It's pretty neat.
Seems like everywhere you look there's a trail and people on it, whether it's dirt or concrete. It just seems like there's plenty for runners to use.
I try to run out on the trail at least once a week. And the reason being is just because of the views. I really like the vistas. You can overlook the city, downtown Denver, and then to the south you could see even Pikes Peak, some of the other, the Front Range, and year-round I think it's just gorgeous. I'm also really excited about the backcountry trail system that they're developing now. I'm anxious to see how those trails turn out once those are completed.
Running is a great way to stay in shape. That's one of the main reasons that I do it is with my job as being a police officer, I think it's extremely important to stay fit and stay in shape.
I just like getting out early in the morning, usually is when I run. I just like getting outside, and I just feel much better for the rest of the day when I do that. Good job, you did it. My goal is to stay in shape and keep my weight down, and I think it sets a good example for my kids because I want them to, they don't have to run, but I want them to see that exercise is important in their life, and no matter what age they are, just, you know, I want them to see that. As you lose weight when you're doing it, running just gets easier and easier as you do that.
For me, you know, it's a big stress relief. You know, working at home, being a computer programmer, you know, you just get so tied up in issues. You know, you're just thinking about trying to solve a problem. For me, a lot of times the best way is I just go out for a run and I can free associate. I stop stressing out, you know, and then halfway through my run, all of a sudden it hits me like that.
My initial reason for running was to lose weight, but now it's almost completely just for stress release and because I really enjoy it.
Well, I started running because I needed something to do. I had just finished gymnastics. I did gymnastics all my life, and I did it all through college, and so when college was finished, I really needed something to fulfill that competition that I have and also just the exercise.
I didn't run until I was in college, and I did it initially to lose some weight in college, but now it's just an enjoyable time.
I run 7 days a week. Monday through Friday, I run in the morning with my dogs, and then again in the afternoon, I'll run by myself, and then I run just once a day on the weekends, you know, give myself a little break. I work on my flexibility. As a runner, flexibility is always a problem, and also I do strength training, so 2 to 3 times a week I'll go to the gym and do upper body, I'll do lower body, and then I also work on abdominal strength every day.
I think exercise in general really helps people to get away from their lives and just kind of do their own thing for a little while. I mean, I go to the gym every morning for an hour, and it is just such a great hour for me to be by myself and to collect my thoughts.
First of all, it's fun, and I just enjoy getting out in the competition and seeing how I can better myself from race to race.
It's one of the best exercises to do for your cardiovascular. Helps increase bone density. So as you get older, the denser your bones are, helps fight osteoporosis, helps naturally strengthen your lower body. Your upper body, of course, isn't really getting much of a workout except going like that. So that's why I try and go to the gym, because I'm skinny enough as it is.
Exercising, of course, releases endorphins, and it just, afterwards you feel great, you feel a sense of accomplishment, and I think that's important.
It forces me to exercise. You know, I don't want to go out to a race and not be prepared and not be able to finish it. So if I know I have a race, I know then I'm more likely to force myself to work out.
I work from home, so for me, my morning commute is basically running with my dogs every morning. You know, it's nice and cool in the mornings for them to go out and run. Since I'm home all day with my dogs, if I didn't run with them, you know, they look out the window and they bark at things, just doing what dogs naturally do. But, you know, on those days, which is almost every day, I run with my dogs. You know, they come home, we wait a little bit, eat breakfast, and then they are just wiped out for the rest of the day. So it's a nice way to just calm your dogs down, get them some good exercise. They're about 5, 6 years old now, but they still look like they're 2, 3 years old just because they're so fit.
itself does a great job of maintaining the trail system. The asphalt and the concrete, I mean, there aren't cracks in it.
Running outside is such a great thing in Colorado because the weather is so wonderful in the mornings and the evenings, in particular in the summer, because they're cool, it's dry air. It's just a great time to run.
It's just a great place to live. I mean, people are friendly, people are nice. I don't think there's right now another place that I'd rather be. But when it gets cool and I don't want to fight the elements of the weather, I'll go inside and use a treadmill.
I love it because it's controlled conditions and I have the iPod and the news and anything else to distract me. But on days like this, I love to be outside, so I'd go run outside when it was this nice.
And in the winter, you can always run during the day or when the sun's out, and it's a nice cool breeze, and you can still be outside, and Colorado's so beautiful, and so it's nice to really take that in. I see people running in their gloves and hat in the winter, and in the summer, shorts and a sports bra, and it's so wonderful to live in a place that you really can do that.
The winter I don't get out as much like I should, but I'd like to. I think I might do that more this year and stay off the treadmill. We have a nice treadmill that we enjoy, but I'd much rather be outside.
You can do it any day, especially in Colorado. There's 300 days of sunshine here, so even in the winter time, it's nice.
I pretty much run outside all year round. Sometimes if there's too much snow, I'll run on our treadmill inside, but pretty much all year round.
All right, there you go, folks. Our top competitor coming across the finish line. Here he is, Kyle Bernardi.
The Highlands Ranch Run Series is for everyone, all ability levels, male, female, whether you're the recreational athlete on the weekend or where you're competitive and actually training for other races throughout the year. We accommodate all ability levels.
You can make it as casual and easygoing. It's really welcoming for families who want to get together, maybe just walk the event, even bring a child in a stroller, or you can also make it as competitive as you want to.
The great thing about the Highlands Ranch runs is that they aren't super competitive, so it's a lot of times you don't get people who are out there trying to run the 5-minute miles. I mean, there's some of them, we see them out there, but a lot of times it's families, people who walk. And a friend of ours was going to run, and I told her, I said, there's no chance you'll be last, because there's always people who walk them. So even if you're doing a real slow jog and a run, I think it's a great place for people to start.
Our participants range from all different ages, men, women, kids. We have people ranging from beginners to experienced athletes.
You don't have to be a great athlete or even a runner to go out and enjoy the series at all by any means. Like I said, you can just be a walker and go out and enjoy the fellowship of other people who enjoy doing the same thing.
There's no prerequisite. I mean, you can literally come show up and walk the distance if you would like, and you can walk it with your dog or walk it with your little girl or little boy. You know, you do not have to be a serious athlete, although these races are geared for those people as well.
For me, it's just a chance to get out there and see where my fitness level is at. You know, I'm not concerned about winning it or anything like that. So for me, it's just a good time. It's a time to get out and, like I said, test my fitness level and see if I can push myself and enjoy the company of other runners.
There's more of a community in Highlands Ranch than I think people realize, because we see people all the time that we've seen at all the races that we're either familiar with or remember the jogger.
We've met several people that did all of the runs, and it's been fun to get to know them, because otherwise we probably wouldn't have. And the same thing at the rec center. It's how I'll get to know people there, and then you'll see them at the grocery store or out at Home Depot. So it's been good to get to know the community a little bit.
But it's been a good experience. The races are well run. There's no pressure. It's your neighbors that are coming out. They're not real big races to where you're going to get lost in the crowd.
Serving up some chips.
Serving up little chips, little queso sauce, little guacamole, fresh sauces. Got to do something to finish the race off today. But nothing but the best for these guys. They deserve it. So.
Our events are held in all different areas throughout Highlands Ranch, in good locations where we have a good start and finish point, where participants and also spectators can come and comfortably park and watch other family members participate in the events, and also where there's a good place for a decent course.
They've been hard. They do hard courses for the Run Series. I know it's generally just Highlands Ranch the way it is, but they pick some hard courses that we've both come home saying, boy.
So I think they've done a really good job of mixing it up with, some hills, some flatter runs, some longer runs, some shorter runs, so that's really nice too.
Highlands Ranch is known for its vast trail system, so we really try to utilize those trails throughout the Highlands Ranch area.
It's really close to home. I find that attractive. It's really well put together, it's well thought out. There's a variety of different races.
My counterpart, Christy Fitzgerald, works really closely with the Douglas County Sheriff's Department. She obtains all the permits from the metro districts.
And working with Douglas County Sheriff, we ensure that the roads are safe for our participants to race on. And we put out cones and make sure that we have medical staff.
All safety concerns and issues are addressed prior to the course being certified.
They're going across all my, that's right, togetherness, teamwork.
The reason the Highlands Ranch Run Series was started was really from a demand from the participants and residents here in Highlands Ranch. This is a very active community, and it became more and more evident through our community relations department and our fitness department that this would be a great idea and something to move forward with. I've been actually racing myself for a long time, and it was clear to me that Highlands Ranch really could use and would benefit and enjoy these type of events in our own neighborhood. Each run is different as far as participation size. I would say on average we've had about 150, 160 participants. We did just have our first ever triathlon in Highlands Ranch this past weekend where we had over 315 participants. I think the future of the Highlands Ranch Run Series is unlimited. We have a lot of first-time races this year, having the first triathlon, having our first 10K, and I'd really like to see that grow into having a half marathon, having an off-road triathlon, even maybe having a marathon one day here in Highlands Ranch.
Some of the proceeds that are raised from the races also go to these nonprofits, and I think that's a great way to raise awareness through the community too.
This year our 7 charities included the Highlands Ranch Parks and Recreation Foundation, the Mile High Powwow Association, the Highlands Ranch Scholarship Fund, Special Olympics Colorado, the Women's Crisis Center, and the Girls on the Run of Denver program.
You can find out about our Highlands Ranch Run Series by going to highlandsranchrunseries.com, or you can call or stop by one of our 4 rec centers. We'll have the information there for you.
It typically costs $20 a race. That's a pre-registration fee. We also offer discounts for people that sign up for the whole series.
We sign up for this Run Series so we know we're going to show up.
All pre-registered participants get a dry fit shirt for each race. They also receive a series shirt and eligible for series prizes at the end of the year. To be eligible for the series prizes, however, you have to compete in 5 of the 7 races. The Highlands Ranch Run Series season starts in March and culminates in September. The series awards will be presented at the final race of the series.
As a new runner, I would say not to start too fast. A lot of people get disappointed if they can't run 5 miles the first time they go out running. So I think it's important to know that that is probably not going to happen.
the competition. Dragon ride's coming down right now. Yeah,
But it's so great to be able to build yourself up and to know, okay, I'm going to run a mile today and maybe walk a mile. And then in a month, I'll be able to run 5 miles pretty comfortably. So I think it's great to set goals and maybe even read about a training program, but to start out slowly is probably the best advice I could give.
I just think it's all about how you feel, and there are days when I might walk half and I might run half. I just think you have to pay attention to your body and add on, and then one day you might be doing a half marathon or a marathon. You know, it's all about how you feel, and as you get older, you have to pay attention to your body and your knees and whatever, but I just think pick a goal for the day and shoot for it and then go farther the next day.
Well, I think if you're wanting to start out running, the key is to stay consistent with it. When I was first starting getting into running, my body hurt a lot. Eventually, your body gets used to it, your muscles and your joints. But I think the biggest thing is to stay consistent. Another thing is not to go out too hard. You want to start out a little bit at a time, and if you decide that you enjoy it and you want to increase your mileage, you want to do that over a long period of time versus doing it all at once. Because physically, it's hard on the body, but it's also hard on you mentally too. And that can be a little bit discouraging if you start out too fast and run too hard.
Definitely take it easy at first. You don't want to go out and just run 5 miles real hard. That's obviously not going to cut it for you, and probably you won't even end up enjoying it in the end. You want to start out slow, maybe even walking it, you know, for a few weeks and getting your legs prepped up, and don't worry about the speed. That's not important really. It's, you know, you're trying to get out, you're trying to, you know, have fun with it. So you just want to take it easy and not worry about pushing it real hard.
First thing is try not to get too overambitious. That's always the first problem people have is, you know, you start feeling good and you start increasing your mileage way too fast. You never want to increase your mileage more than 20% a week. So if you're doing 5 miles one week, the next week you can only increase it to 6.
Runners, to your mark, go! Yeah, there they're off, looking good. The 10K Highlands Range in Wednesday, Saturday.
A lot of times I think people start out walking and then they figure out that they can run a little bit in a combination of running and walking. So a lot of people, I think, if you model and you just go out and do exercise and things, they'll start asking you what you do. And so it's not uncommon that people in our family, even my dad, started saying, well, what do you do? And well, we go for a walk, and then you can do a combination of walking and running and build yourself up. I think that anytime you start running, you have to start out pretty slow just so you don't end up so sore that you kill yourself. But start running, you know, maybe half a mile and do some walking with it and just try and get into it and set a goal for yourself. Maybe it's to run in one of the Highlands Ranch 5Ks and just build yourself up to where you can run a little bit more each week.
Start out slow, don't rush into it, don't try to do 100 miles. I mean, just stay relaxed and just have a good time with it.
If you want to say, yeah, this month I'm going to run 3 miles and then I'm going to increment it by a mile each month, it definitely sets a good pace for you, and you can track how you've been doing, and then you start timing yourself on the runs and to see how much faster you can get. It helps you see your progress and how you've been doing throughout the year.
With my schedule, I have to get up pretty early in the morning to get my workouts in. So it's a lot easier for me to have somebody to meet me out on a run, because from a motivational perspective, it's a lot easier to do that. Not to mention he pushes me too, so that's always important. It makes me a better runner.
Pick a goal, whether it's, I'm going to run to the end of the block today. I'm going to start there, and tomorrow maybe I'll run a half a block further, or I might do that for a couple days.
So I log my miles so I know as far as, you know, what I'm doing, and for me, I think that helps me with my goals. You know, I establish, hey, this time at this particular race, and if I write stuff down, it just helps me achieve it and accomplish it. And then I can look back and say, well, did I meet that goal or did I not meet it? And if I write it down, I have a much better tendency of doing it rather than if I don't.
Because because I like to see what I've done, and because over the years I've been faster and slower. After having kids, I had to pick back up again, and sometimes I log all of my workouts, whether it's swimming or running or biking, just to see how I've done in the last month.
If you're new to running, the best thing to do is to go to a running store, talk to someone that can analyze your running gait. You don't want to have ankle problems or knee problems from having a bad pair of shoes.
This is going to gradually speed you up, and what I'm doing here is videotaping your feet while you're running. Okay. And when we're finished, then we'll take a look at it in slow motion. We'll see what kind of shoes are going to work best for you. Okay, we'll come on over here and take a look at this. Okay. What I'm looking for here is just to see what the natural movement of your foot here. You strike on the outside of your heel, which is normal. Just want to see if you're having a tendency to overpronate or not. In this shoe, you actually look pretty stable. Coming right through the center of the toe. Okay. This foot too, heel to toe, you're staying nice and level or perpendicular to the treadmill. Yes. So what we're looking for you is something that has a little bit more support on the inside, just because you have a tendency to pronate just a tiny bit. And the more miles you put on, I think you're going to want something with a little bit more support.
Is there a brand that's going to work for my pronation better?
When it comes to fitting you for a shoe, there's going to be a shoe in every brand that's going to work for you. It's just a matter of fit and feel and what feels best on your foot. So I'll grab a variety of shoes and we'll give them a try and see how they look. So now here, what we got is a little higher density foam. You can see this gray material in the shoe is going to support that little bit of overpronation that you had. So now when you put weight on that part of the shoe, it won't compress and it'll keep you nice and even.
Okay. Try this out. Fits good. Does that fit?
That's good. I think the width, the length is just right on. How's it feeling when you're walking around?
Feels good.
All right. There you go. Thanks.
The important thing to do is also to make sure you change out your shoes. Your legs start feeling dead from your shoes. Get a new pair before you start hurting your knees.
Equipment's always a key. The thing that I enjoy about running is it's a relatively inexpensive sport. You need a good pair of shoes, a pair of shorts, and a t-shirt. Other than that, like I said, the equipment's very minimal, but I think shoes are extremely important to preventing injury, because if you're injured, then you're going to lose the fun of it and the excitement.
If you run with a higher quality pair of shoes, your feet are going to thank you later. I think also it's important to have running attire that can whisk away any moisture. In addition to that, maybe a running jacket.
And that's the great thing about running, is it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not like you have to spend a lot on equipment or go out and buy a new racket. You just have to get a good pair of running shoes.
So there are a lot of magazines out there, running magazines, that have programs mostly for marathon training, but I've used it and adjusted it for myself and what I like to do. I've never run a marathon, and I don't think I ever really want to. I've done a half marathon, so I kind of used it for that.
I try to eat well, try to, like I said, maintain some consistency. I think that's a key for me, is making sure that I'm out running on a consistent schedule. I have a great partner that I run with. That's been key because it keeps you motivated.
If you have somebody you can share that with on a regular basis, I think that's really important. It's not all just about running, it's about life's experiences.